Very good morning, student. Today we're going to focus on the blotting techniques. These are the objective behind this presentation and some outcomes related with this presentation. So the objective for this presentation is to make the student understand regarding the genetic engineering, recombinant DNA technology with respect to its method for gene transfer and different genetic engineering techniques, okay, which quite be helpful to the student to upgrade their knowledge related with this genetic engineering outcomes. Students are familiar with the different DNA transfer technique, and these methods involve the separation, transfer and hybridization technique related with the blotting mechanism. So we're going to start our presentation. So what actually the blotting techniques are? So blotting techniques are applied in the isolation and quantification of specific nucleic acid sequence and in the study of organization, intracellular localization, expression and regulation. These techniques describe the immobilization of sample nucleic acids on a nylon or nitrocellulose membrane. So the blotted nucleic acids are then used as targets in the subsequent hybridization experiments. So DNA, RNA and proteins are easily separated by blotting methods. Okay, so basically these blots are responsible for the transferring the DNA, RNA and protein onto a carrier, so they can separate it and often follow the use of gel electrophoresis. So southern blot is used for the transferring DNA, the northern blot for the RNA and western blot for the protein. These are the methods of blotting techniques wherein you are able to detect the different types of genetic material. So first one is your southern blotting technique, which is especially for the identification of DNA. Northern blotting, which are responsible for the detection of RNA material, and western blot are able to, by which one can able to detect the protein. So apart from these western blot, that western blot is also called as protein blotting technique. And another one method is there, that is dot and slot blotting method. So we'll discuss one by one. So this is the picture of the eminent professor Sir Edwin Southern. So on behalf of his name only, because of his invention, this blotting has globally recognized as his name by Southern blotting technique. So Professor Sir Edwin Southern, he is a professor of biochemistry and fellow of Trinity, developed in the year of 1975. So Southern won the Lasker Award for the clinical medical research prize for the method of finding specific DNA sequences. So he developed this process at Edinburgh University more than 30 years ago. So the technique is known as DNA transfer or Southern blotting technique. So this method basically involve the separation, transfer and transferization and hybridization mechanism. It is applicable for the molecular biology for the detection of a specific DNA sequence in DNA samples. So the DNA detected can be a single gene, or it can be the part of larger piece of DNA such as viral genome. So Southern blotting combines the agarro gel electrophoresis for the size separation of DNA with this method to transfer the size separated DNA to a filter membrane for probe hybridization. So the key to this method is simply the hybridization one. So what actually this hybridization is, This is the process of forming a double-stranded DNA molecule between a single-stranded DNA probe and a single-stranded target patient DNA. So what actually the principle behind this southern blotting is, the mixture of molecule is separated, the molecules are immobilized on a matrix, the probe is added to the matrix to bind to the molecule, any unbound probe are then removed. The place where the probe is connected correspond to the location of the immobilized target molecule. So basically this is a apparatus which is applicable for the detection of DNA. This is some raw material which is required for the southern blotting technique, that is Whatman 3 mm paper and nitrocellulose membrane to fix the blot. So this is a capillary plotting apparatus wherein you are able to see the different types of components of your southern blotting technique, which consist of at bottom the plastic tray wherein you have to incorporate your slab with respect to the gel membrane, then 3-sheet filter paper in between the paper tissue and membrane, then later on you will have to place the glass plate, and we have to keep the weight which must be less than 0.75 kg. So this is your capillary plotting apparatus. So basically the steps in the southern blotting techniques. So before going to directly jump over the steps there in the southern blotting, one should know what actually these mechanism related with this. So DNA molecule is cut into the small fragment by means of restriction in endonucleases, which will be cut your DNA molecule and pass through the agarose gel by electrophoresis method. So it results into the separation of DNA molecule which based on their size. So the DNA is then denaturated into the single stranded by exposing the gel to alkaline solution. Gel is added on the top of the buffer saturated filter paper. It is covered with the nitrocellulose filter overlay with dry filter paper, and the buffer moves from the bottom of the filter paper by capillary action, and here the DNA is then trapped in the nitrocellulose membrane. This process is known as blotting. So the nitrocellulose membrane is removed from the blotting stack and the DNA is permanently immobilized on the membrane by baking at 80 degrees Celsius or ultraviolet induced cross-linking. So single stranded DNA has a high affinity for the nitrocellulose filter membrane. Hence the membrane is treated with the solution containing 0.2% each of the Ficol or polyvinyl pyrrolidone, that is PVP, and bovine serum albumin. So this treatment prevents non-specific binding of the radioactive probe. The membrane is then placed in a solution of labeled RNA, single stranded DNA or oligodeoxynucleotide, that is probe. So this labeled nucleic acid is used to detect and locate the complementary sequence. It is called as probe. So the probe containing the sequence of interest is hybridized or annealed with the immobilized DNA on the membrane. After the hybridization reaction, the membrane is washed to remove the unbound probe. The washed membrane is exposed to X-ray film that depicts the presence of radioactivity in the bound probe. The film is developed to reveal bands indicating position in the gel of DNA fragments that are complementary to the radioactive probe, where you could able to see there in the diagram, both upper diagram as well as lower diagram. So the southern blotting technique is very sensitive method actually, and it is used to map the restriction site that around a single copy gene sequence in an genome. So it is also used in preparation of RFLP, that is restriction fragment length polymorphism, that is RFLP maps, the DNA fingerprinting, and identification of the transfer genes, etc. So nitrocellulose paper, being very fragile, is now replaced by the nylon membrane. So at last you will get the final probe, which is excess of probe, which we have to wash, and probe bound to the filter is detected by simple autoradiography, which reveals the DNA fragment to which the probe hybridized. So this is your actual position of your material here with respect to your blotting apparatus, where you could able to see at last the DNA bands has been exposed to the film and it has been detected by the autoradiography. So this is your actual way where we have to prepare our capillary blot. So I have already told you that we have to stack the different types of paper towels upon the agar rose gel. Below than that, in between that, the nitrocellulose paper we have to fixed, but now I had just told you that nitrocellulose paper being very fragile, so is now replaced by the nylon membrane. So that is nothing but your separated DNA fragment blotted onto the nitrocellulose paper. And on another hand, in the C diagram, you could able to see the removal of nitrocellulose paper with the tightly bound DNA from the gel itself, and eventually it will going to labeled the probe hybridized to separate the DNA. So first of all, we'll have to seal the plastic bag wherein the labeled DNA probe in buffer has gonna placed. So after labeled, the DNA probe hybridized to complementary DNA bands and visualized by the autoradiography. So the diagram in the E sections, where you could able to see the label bands which are isolated successfully, it is indicated that these genetic material, that is DNA, has isolated successfully and detected successfully. Okay, so this is your position of the different label marker. Applications for these southern blots are used in the gene discovery, mapping, evaluation, evolution, development studies, diagnostics, then forensic sciences. Then I have already told you just now that it is being useful in case of DNA fingerprinting, preparation of RFLP maps, and etc. And then identification of the transferred genes in the transgenic individual. Then southern blots allow the investigators to determine the molecular weight of restriction fragment and to measure the relative amounts in the different samples. Southern blot is also used to detect the presence of particular beat of DNA in a sample. And last is you could analyze the genetic pattern which appears in a person's DNA. Next one is your northern blotting techniques. So basically this Alvine and his team in the year of somehow 1979 devised a technique in which the RNA bands are blot transferred from the gel onto chemical reactive paper, and basically this is a analogy to the southern blotting techniques. So next, there are the different types of steps are involved in the northern blotting techniques. So very first method is RNA is isolated from several biological samples, example various tissues, various developmental stage of same tissue, etc. RNA is more susceptible to degradation than DNA. So that's why in previous slide we stated that the this method it is as such the analogy to the Southern blotting. In next second step, the samples are loaded on a gel and the RNA samples are separated according to their size on an agarose gel. That is phosphorus 32 labeled size markers we have to placed, and then we have to embed the genetic materials into this slot or the veil, you can say. So at last the migration has takes place from the band, so resulting gel following after the electrophoresis run. So with the due effect of this electrophoresis, where one can able to separate the fragment depending upon their shape and size. In third step, the gel is then blotted on a nylon membrane or a nitrocellulose filter paper by creating the sandwich arrangement. But as we have discussed, we know that cellulose filter paper is a fragile in nature, so the wear and tear may be possible in between or in situ process of these blotting techniques. So that nylon membrane is now preferable by the different scientists to create the sandwich arrangement. So where you could able to see there in the diagram, so we'll have to stick the different papers, that is solution passes through the gel and filter to paper towel, that is we have to stick. Then at last there is a at the bottom you could able to see the petri plate. The sponge has been prepared, the salt solution gel. So with respect to this electrophoresis mechanism, the genetic material could able to migrate from one place to another to for the proper fragmentation process, so by which one can isolate and screen out the different genetic material from on the basis of shape and size. And in the last one, the gel filter and RNA transfer to the filter, it's visualized there in the diagram. So here the successful RNA has been transferred to the filter. In fourth method, the membrane is placed in a dish containing hybridization buffer with a labeled probe. Thus it will hybridize to the RNA on the blot that corresponds to the sequence of interest. So the membrane at last is your membrane is washed to remove the unbound probe. So where the probe hybridizes to complementary sequences, where you could able to detect your RNA. In next step, the labeled probe is detected via autoradiography or via chemiluminescence reactions, that is if a chemically labeled probe is used. Okay, and in both cases this result in the formation of a dark band on an X-ray film. And now the expression pattern of the sequence of interest in the different samples can be compared. So this is your exact representation of the radio labeled marker, you can say, of DNA marker, that is, and the few discrete 1 to 2 RNA fragment has labeled here. So where you could able to detect your RNA with the help of your auto radiogram. These are the some references, but before going to jump upon the references towards the application, the one scientist, name of that scientist is Thomas. In the year of 1980, where he found that the mRNA bands can also be blotted directly on nitrocellulose paper under appropriate condition, and it can be hybridized with a labeled DNA or RNA probe. Hybrids are treated with the S1 nuclease with RNAs which digest the single stranded RNA or DNA probe. So structure of mRNA is revealed to the extent to which the mRNA protect the nucleic acid probe in which detect. So in this technique the preparation of reactive paper is not required. So northern blottings are mainly useful in the studies of gene expression. It is also gonna used for the determination whether a particular gene is transcribed in all tissues of an microorganism or only the certain tissues. So now the applications related with the northern blotting techniques are a standard for the study of gene expression. I told you just now. It is also helpful for the detection of mRNA transcript size. Then it is also going to useful for the study of RNA degradation, then splicing, and the half-life of these RNA as genetic material. It is often used to confirm and check the transgenic knockout mice, that is in case of animal. These are the some disadvantage of the northern blotting techniques. The standard northern blot method is relatively less sensitive than nucleus protection assays and RT-PCR, that is river transcriptase polymerase chain reaction. So nowadays that RT-PCR is gonna diagnostic tool for the identification or test the COVID-19 infected patient. Then detection with the multiple probes is a problem. If RNA samples are even slightly degraded by RNAs, the quality of the data and quantitation of expression is quite negatively affected. So we'll see now the Western blotting technique. Western blotting, before than the these invention, the Tobin and his team in the year of somehow 1979 developed the Western blotting, or you can say the protein blotting or electroblotting technique, you can say, to find out the newly encoded proteins by transferred transform cell. So polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis is used for the separation and characterization of the proteins. So these Western blotting in the year of 1981 it was invented is the immunoblotting technique, which rely upon the specificity of binding between a protein of interest and a probe, that is antibody raised against that particular protein, to allow detection of the protein of interest in a mixture of many other similar molecules. So the SDS page technique is a prerequisite for the Western blotting. So these blotting techniques, southern, northern blotting, Western blotting, even dot blot technique, so it's having their intercorrelations between each other with respect to the mechanism. We'll see next the steps which is involved there in the Western blot, where you could able to see the information which is depicted in the figure. The very first step is a protein sample is subjected to electrophoresis on an SDS polyacrylamide gel to get the desired fragment of your protein on the basis of your size and shape. So mixture of protein and gel electrophoresis, that is will have to subjected for on the SDS and polyacrylamide gel, and where you could able to see the migration rate of that protein from pink to purple violet, then green. Then in next step, that is in second step, that is electroblotting, transfer the separated protein from the gel to the surface of nitrocellulose membrane. So that migration has takes place here on the nitrocellulose membrane, where you could able to see the different color bands has obtained, that is red, purple, and green. So this is your faint blue color, which is of your SDS polyacrylamide gel, where we'll have to apply the electric current, where the migration has takes place over the nitrocellulose membrane. And next one is your porous membrane sheet. In next step, the blot is incubated with a generic protein such as milk protein or BSA, which binds to any remaining sticky places on the nitrocellulose, where you could able to see that generic protein which binds to the purple color band, which is of your nitrocellulose, which has placed on the nitrocellulose, and antibody that is specific for the protein of interest, that is primary antibody AB1, is added to the nitrocellulose sheet and reacts with the antigen. Only the band containing protein of interest binds the antibody, forming a layer of antibody molecule. And in next step, after washing for removal of non-specifically bound AB1, second antibody, that is AB2, is added, which specifically recognize the Fc domain of the primary antibody and binds it. AB2 is radioactively labeled or is covalently linked, you can say, to a reporter enzyme, which allows to visualize the protein AB1 AB2 complex. So where you could able to see the in the diagram that substrate which having the enzymatic reactions towards the reporter enzyme. So second antibody and first antibody is gonna generate it there over the targeted protein. So this is an example of your Western blot. So where you could able to see the electric field is applied to cause the migration of protein from the gel to nitrocellulose filter paper. So nitrocellulose membrane is used for probing with a specific labeled antibody, and the antibody is labeled with I-125 radio labeled substance, and the signal is detected again with the autoradiography. So this is your simple way of your autoradiograph, where you could able to see the marker sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, then pure sample, then again we'll have to run towards the sample 1 2 3 pure sample and markers once again. So with this fashion, the autoradiograph can detect your protein perfectly. These are some applications related with the Western blot. So this technique, with the help of this technique, one can do or detect the confirmatory test for the HIV patient. Then it is also gonna useful for the definitive test for bovine spongiform encephalopathy, that is BSE, and some form of the Lyme disease testing employ Western blot. Okay. I was failed to cite here the next technique, that is your dot and slot blotting. So I'll going to verbally I'll going to just make you understand what actually this dot and slot blotting. So this dot and slot blotting is used to detect the presence of a given sequence of DNA or RNA in the non-fractionated DNA. The procedure is made simple by excluding purification steps in the electrophoresis and blotting of gel. So the sample of DNA or RNA from different individuals or tissues are transferred onto a nitrocellulose filter in the form of dots or the slots. So hence this method is called as dot and slot blotting method. So the DNA is first denaturated, and then the filler is back at 80 degrees Celsius to fix the DNA. So the next one is your nitrocellulose filter is gonna treated with the help of appropriate radioactive single-stranded DNA probe, and the membrane is then hybridized with radioactively labeled probe, that is DNA or either RNA, and dots are detected by autoradiography simple, and the intensity of dot will be indicate the relative concentration of a sequence related to the probe in the DNA sample. So here the question is remains same, that what actually the DNA probe is. So I'll going to make you understand in simple language by taking you a couple of minutes. So DNA probe are the radiolabel pieces, you can say, of SS DNA, that is single stranded DNA, that will bind to the DNA that is complementary to the probe using hybridizing technique. So this probe contain unique nucleotide sequence which can be used for the detection of homologous DNA by hybridization. So DNA probes are commonly used in the diagnosis of infectious disease, which is based on the unique sequences of DNA or RNA. So every microorganism contain unique nucleotide sequences that distinguishes it from every other species. So this is all about your DNA probes. So by looking towards this slide, student will going to think what actually it is. So what do you think about the following? So uh, where you could able to explain and elaborate in well passion what actually the blotting techniques are, then detailed explanation related with the different types of the blotting techniques, including southern, western or northern blotting technique, or you can say at last we had seen verbally the dot blot technique, at last the various applications of each techniques therein. Okay, so by looking towards these blotting techniques, which could able to determine the different types of the genetic material so far. So as far as the blotting techniques are concerned, so these blotting techniques are also going to useful in case of your different types of electrophoresis also, gel electrophoresis, that is. So thank you so much for the in next sessions we'll going to see the some another topic. Thank you.